All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Do you understand?
Rightio legends, Chaos Chronicles, and we're back with another video again. And so, yeah, I thought I'd answer another question today. And so this question is from Evelyn Searle Ma 3593, and it says, "Are medium security prisons as hectic with shanks and bashings?" Question mark. All right. So thanks, Evelyn, for that awesome question. We'll definitely get into that in a moment. But before I get into it, if those of you who are watching now and are enjoying my content and love the Chaos Chronicles and you haven't already shot me a subscription, jump down there somewhere and shoot me a subscription. And if you hit that little bell icon that's right next to that subscription button, you'll get a notification on whatever device you watch me on every time I drop a video, and yeah, you will know that I have dropped a video on your device, and yeah, show your support that way. And like I've been saying as well, we also have paid memberships as well. They are not for everybody because they are paid memberships, but it does help support my page, and it's helped me buy new things like my new recording device here, my new microphone, stuff like that. And so yeah, it just helps push me on to bigger and better beginnings and stuff like that. And if you just want to show your support a little bit further, and that's how you can do it. So to all those that have done that, thank you so much to all my members. But all right, Evelyn, let's get into it. So I'll just ask the questions again just to refresh. So it says, "Are medium security prisons as hectic with shanks and bashings?" So I guess you mean like, are medium security prisons as hectic with shanks and bashings as like a maximum security? And so yeah, they pretty much are. So I guess it's kind of watered down a little bit though. But there are certain B rating or medium rating prisons in Victoria that everyone knows that if you fuck up there, that there's a good chance you might receive a shank sandwich, and it's usually off the Asians. And I'm talking about Fulham, and like Fulham's always been like, it's really crazy because it's kind of like ran like a maximum security prison, but it is a medium security prison. And it's a very, very big population of Asians there, and well, it is very multicultural there, as a matter of fact. And yeah, drugs are pretty rife there. It is known in the public, like in newspapers and stuff, as I remember it being called the Asian drug jail. Is that fair on the Asians? Probably not. But is it a prison that has a lot of Persian rugs there? Yeah, it definitely is. And because of that, like wherever there's a prison where there's a lot of like you know, drug activity, there's always going to be like, crazy stuff that comes with drugs, because people can't pay their debts because they're in prison. You literally earn $24 a week if you work in prison. And if you don't work, you earn like $12 a week or something like that. Maybe $13 now if you're lucky. But yeah, you know, people can't pay their drug debts, and it is another privately run prison as well, Fulham. So there is a couple of privately run medium prisons here in Victoria. So we have Ravenhall and we have Fulham. But yeah, Fulham is definitely like 100%, like, I won't even sugarcoat it, has probably been at times, probably more hectic than Barwon and Port Phillip has been at times. And, and, the stabbings and the bashings that you're talking about happen there quite, like, very much on the regular. And it's usually because of, like I said, because of the drugs and stuff like that. But no, it's not always just because of the drugs, but it's because it's a privately run prison. And I've told you guys, like, privately run prisons are a friggin' joke, and like literally, like it's almost comical how they're run and how like they're able to get away with what they can because it is the private sector, and because it is the private sector and they are allowed to get away with a lot more, then there is a lot more corruption. A lot more corruption means a lot more contraband, and a lot more contraband means a lot more drama on the yard. So um but is that the general consensus across the board with all medium security prisons? No, absolutely not. So most medium security prisons are are a lot different than maximum securities. But to say that there are no stabbings and no bashings there would be an absolute lie, because there still is. It just doesn't happen as often. Um, and the reason they call them a B rating jail is because that's your security rating. And, generally to get that kind of security rating, you kind of have to have behaved, especially if you're doing a big sentence. They generally like you to do a third of your sentence in maximum, a third of your sentence in medium, and then a third of your sentence in minimum. And then they even have prisons like Judy Lazarus now, which is like it's a prison in Melbourne where they have like 50 people there. You can go out and work every day and stuff like that, and come back, and you can go out and do shopping and things like that. You can reintegrate back into society. I think Judy Lazarus is a brilliant idea, and there should be more of them around. But yeah, generally, the stabbings and the bashings are like, yeah, 100% a little bit more watered down than the maximum security prisons. And but like what's also like a little bit crazier is like I found like I've only been to a medium security prison once, and I was only there for a very short period of time, and then spent a very, very long time, 19 months actually, in the slot segregation, and on 23-hour lockdown, if you don't know what that is. And yeah, so, but what I did notice is like I found that in that short amount of time, I got offered if I wanted a shank by literally about 25 different people. And like, that's not a common occurrence in a maximum security prison. Whereas in a maximum security prison, you know, people aren't going to come and offer you generally aren't going to come and offer you a shank, especially if you're a nobody. But if you are a somebody, or and you do have a bit of a name for yourself, and you know what I mean, or if you are, you do have boys there or whatever, people are going to come up and say, here's this for you, just in case, rah rah rah. But that happens in maximum security as well. But like, yeah, it's absolutely like still nothing like maximum security. Although the stabbings and the bashing still do happen, there's absolutely no comparison. So like the medium security prison I went to was Loddon, and although I was there for a very short amount of time, the vast differences I noticed was like there was a lot of people there that thought that they were somebodies, but probably weren't, and probably do most of their prison in medium securities and minimum securities and stuff like that. And I did notice there was a lot of people, which hence why I only lasted hours there. But I did notice that there was a lot of people bridging up and gangstering on, like, and people that you've never even seen walk through the door of a maximum security prison in your life. Um, so yeah, there's a lot more talk, a lot more bullshit talk, like a lot more shit talk goes on in medium security prisons. Like we call it air raiding, like in the criminal world, it's called air raiding, or the prison world, they call it air raiding, which basically means, you're just making an air raiding siren, being very loud, and you're not doing anything. And I found that in my very short amount of time that, that's what kind of goes on at medium security, and hence why I only spent hours there. And, yeah, it was because the gist of it is because somebody came up to me and told me how I was going to be doing my prison time in their prison. You know what I mean? And then went on to say, if you don't do what I say, then you'll get taken out. Rah rah rah. Well, I wasn't taken out, and so his whole crew was taken out that day, and yeah, me and a few of my boys spent a long time in the slot for that. But yeah, I guess that kind of thing doesn't happen all the time. And as a matter of fact, like that scenario itself, like they said that they'd never had something as serious as that at Loddon Prison. I actually got charged with attempted murder, and yeah, spent 19 months in the slot. And then one day, just got this little slip of paper under my door that said, the charges have been dropped due to lack of witness cooperation and lack of evidence. And although that they did say that they thought that that was me on the camera, there was no way to prove it. Whoever the person was, um, you know, had a towel over their head, was wearing it under their jumper, and then through the, like a hoodie, and there was just no way they could tell. And then I guess um, whoever was involved in it or whatever, the people that did see it didn't want any reprisals or whatever, and which is quite surprising actually. And yeah, so yeah, it was 19 months later, all those charges were dropped, and so they said they'd never seen anything like that at the prison. But that kind of thing happens at maximum security prison every single day. Like, it's not even a rare occurrence for someone to be airlifted away, at a maximum security prison. It happens very, very often. And yeah, so I guess the Evelyn, the answer to that question is, does it still happen at medium security prisons? Like, yeah, absolutely, 100% still does happen. But like I said, it's a watered down version of this, and yeah, there's kind of no comparison. But there are times when crazy mofo's do make it to medium security, and like myself, don't last very long because like I said, there's a lot more shit talking going on. And in maximum security, if you say that you're going to take someone out and you don't take them out, you're probably going to get taken out yourself just for saying that you're going to take someone out. I don't think I've ever said taken out that many times in one sentence in my life, but and that's the truth, and that's why I have to say that there's just no comparison in the if there's a severity level of violence or whatever, like there's just no comparison to the severity level of violence from maximum security to medium security. Um, and yeah, once again, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It absolutely does happen, and crazy things, and people have lost their lives in medium security prisons before, and yeah. So, but yeah, it's a lot different than maximum security. And yeah, I hope that was a good enough explanation, and I hope I explained that good enough for you. But yeah, let's also not get it twisted that when I said about Fulham being a crazy medium security prison. I know of. I'll give one example here that'll blow your mind. So I've made videos on this. It's something called the Pentry Genema, right? So it's basically the Pentry Genema is when you have somebody has kicked in drugs, whatever way, from the visit, screws, whatever, and they have it in their stomach, right? And so they call it a Pentry Genema because people will hold that person down and then use usually prison cutlery like forks and spoons and stuff like that to pry open this person's back passage and give them a homemade enema and retrieve the parcels from this person's insides. And like, these are things that have been known to happen at Fulham. So, like, let's not get it twisted. Like, Fulham can at times be, like I said at the start of the video, be just as bad as Port Phillip and Barwon, and at times has probably been a lot worse, you know. And like I said, a lot of crazy things have gone on there. You know, especially back in the early 2000s and the late 90s and the 90s and stuff. Like, it was full of, like, you know, real hardcore criminals, like, of every ethnicity background. And you know, it was known as being a really, really hectic jail, and especially because it was a medium security. You know, it had a name like a maximum security. And like I said, people of 100% are not at home now because they got taken out, and you know, never came home from prison, and were unalived in prison because of being at Fulham. So yeah, let's not get it twisted. That joint is off its head. But you know, generally, are they different? Yeah, they are. And yeah, I hope that's a good enough explanation for you. I'll wrap it up there, guys. And yeah, if you guys are loving the Chaos Chronicles and you want to see us grow into bigger and better things, which we are absolutely doing right now, this week is going to blow your guys' minds. The new content that I'm dropping. So yeah, watch this space. But yeah, I'm not rushing into it, guys. We're just gonna do it at the pace that we have to. And yeah, just like I say, watch this space, guys. It's going to be awesome, awesome content. I believe, yeah, one of the first, if I know it's not maybe the first in the world, this new thing that I've just stumbled upon, but it's definitely first of its kind in Australia. And yeah, it kind of just fell into my lap by things that I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in fate. And so, like, yeah, 100%. I believe that it happened for a reason. So, yeah, I just took it and ran with it. And you guys are going to be absolutely flabbergasted. And I think you're going to be like, damn, he's really, really putting in the work now for the page, which I am. I'm absolutely, you know, there's no looking back now, and onwards and upwards from here, guys. So, yeah, like I said, if you haven't shot me a subscription, now's the time to shoot me a subscription. Jump down there, shoot me a subscription, hit that bell icon. You'll never miss any of my clips again. Yeah, I've been the Chaos Chronicles, guys. Don't do drugs and crime, and you won't end up in prison. As simple as that. We out.